All right. Shalom, family. It's your brother Kanaiba coming at you once again with this video titled The Year 2023. My critique from a spiritual vantage point. Okay. So, of course, we're in the month of December, right? And 2023, according to this calendar, is upon us. It's right around the corner, right? So going into 2023 and, looking at things from a spiritual vantage point, I just want to give my perspective on, some of the things that I see happening or could happen. Okay. Now, of course, I can't say 100% that it will, but, looking at these things from a spiritual vantage point, this is going to be my perspective. Okay. Kind of like what happened last year. Last year I did that series with Travis Scott. It was a 3-part series. And throughout that series, you probably noticed that I said that whole event, everything that happened with that Travis Scott event was simply a prelude to what would be going on next year, which is the year we're in, 2022, right? I said there will be a lot of deaths that would actually happen this year. And lo and behold, that's what happened, okay? Just starting off, I want to say it was like the beginning of spring. We started seeing all these mass shootings, okay, that happened this year. Okay, then you had, there were different rappers that actually died. And then all the way up to this point, towards the end of this year, you have so many people just dropping dead. It just unbeknownst, like there's no explanation as to why these people are dropping dead. Okay. And I already said that, the end of last year was simply just a prelude to what was going to happen this year. Okay. So now I kind of want to do that with this video. Okay. And again, this is just how I view it. Okay. Not saying that this is, what specifically is going to happen, but I'm going to look at, certain things that I actually see, and we're going to evaluate. Okay. Now, also, let me bring to your remembrance that, I did, I want to say it was a series about the Super Bowl that actually happened this year. And of course, you had the Cincinnati Bengals that actually went up against the LA Rams. Okay. Now, we already know, based upon what was the Chinese New Year this year, it was the year of the tiger. Okay. Now, I forget what particular element was with that, but I know it was the year of the tiger. Okay. So this is why the Bengals had to go to the Super Bowl this year. And of course, they went up against the LA Rams, or the horned deity, right? And of course, the horned deity actually won the Super Bowl. And of course, the score was 20-23, or 2023. Okay, and I don't think that was a coincidence. Okay, I think that was on purpose. Okay, it's again just an allusion to the year that's coming up. Okay, and that's why we're going to look at the Chinese New Year for next year. Here in a few minutes, we're going to take a look at that as well. Okay, so now digging a little deeper, dealing with this year 2023, let's look at the number 23 and what it actually represents. Okay, there's a reason why I chose this for a thumbnail. Okay, the number 23 represents DNA. Okay, it represents DNA, and it also represents the intertwining serpent. Okay, it represents the letter W. All three pretty much the same thing. Okay, the letter W is the 23rd letter in the alphabet. Okay, and that letter W is actually a symbol for the intertwining serpent. Okay, that's why when you have you had rappers like Ice Cube, I believe it was C-Dub and Mac 10. They formed the group, the West Side Connection, and they always would throw up that W symbol. Okay, that was really for the intertwining serpent. Okay, and that intertwining serpent is really the same symbol as the DNA symbol. It's really the same thing. Okay, that what you call it, the Kundalini, that serpent, that intertwining serpent. Okay, and of course 23 represents DNA because you get 23 chromosomes from each parent. Okay, I know that was a lot, but I'm just giving you a bit of a rundown about the number 23 and everything that it represents. Okay, but what I really want to focus on is the fact that it represents DNA. Okay, so now it should make sense, having that information. It should make sense as to why a specific event is happening towards the end of this year right now. Okay, you have the situation with Kanye West and Kyrie Irving. Okay, dealing with this whole thing about what they call anti-Semitism, which that phrase is really a joke. Okay, but dealing with anti-Semitism, but the whole beef is centered around who the real Jews are. Okay, that's dealing with DNA. All right, there's a reason why this topic is gaining more attention towards the end of this year, going into next year. It's dealing with DNA, who the real Jews are. This is not by accident or by happenstance. Okay, now this is just my critique, but I see why this is happening. Okay, I believe that this thing is going to blow up even more. Okay, because one of the hottest topics right now in general is what's going on with Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, and this whole anti-Semitism thing. And I believe it's going to blow up even more going into next year, dealing with who the real Jews are. That number 23, DNA. Okay, so now with that being said, let's actually look at a couple of scriptures real quick. Okay, let's take a look at this. So this is going to be Genesis chapter 49 and verse 10. And it reads, it says, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. Now that Shiloh is actually Yahushua. Okay. Then it says, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Okay, it's through the spirit of Yahushua that his people, the 12 tribes of Israel, are going to be gathered back together. Okay, and we're starting to see that great gathering now. That's why this truth is gaining more traction. It's getting more attention towards the end of this year. And it just so happens that Kanye West and Kyrie Irving are two catalysts that's being used to get this Hebrew Israelite movement, even more attention. Okay, brothers have already been preaching, telling who we are. Okay, we're all over YouTube, we're on the streets and things of that nature. But to get this thing even more traction, the Most High could be using these two celebrities to get more of our people's eyes on the knowledge. Okay, because again, even the scriptures lets us know that, roughly paraphrasing, that when a rich man speaks, people listen and they exalt his words to the clouds. Okay, people take to heart, what rich people or people of acclaim actually say, things that they say, rather than your lack of a better term, average Joe. Okay. But the point being is this thing is getting more attention towards the end of this year. And I think it's going to blow up more next year. Okay, let's take a look at another scripture. So this is going to be the book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 10. And it reads, it says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. Now watch closely. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. So there's a specific place or places where the true children of Israel have been told that we are not God's people. We've been called everything under the sun, from African Americans to Native Americans to Puerto Ricans to Cubans, okay, to Mexicans, to West Indians and things of this nature on down. We've been called everything under the sun. We've been called niggas, spicks, wetbacks, savages, everything under the sun except what we truly are. Okay, and that same place where we were called all these derogatory terms, and that very same place or those very same places, it's really America. Okay, and that very same place is going to be said to us that we are the children or the sons of the living God. Okay, and that's what's happening. And that's why these elites are so bent out of shape about what Kanye said and about what Kyrie did, posting that particular link. Okay, that's why they're up in arms right now. Okay, because they know these type of prophecies. Okay, one of the biggest prophecies of Yahweh's second coming is the true children of Israel waking up. And that's what they're afraid of. Okay, again, dealing with DNA, who the real children of Israel are. And that's why I say 2023, I believe, and this is just my critique, is going to be a big year for that. Okay, remember what Yahweh said, I believe it was in the Gospel of John, I want to say the 12th chapter. Remember, he said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I will draw all men unto me. Okay, because remember, he is Shiloh. It's through his spirit that the tribes of Israel are going to be gathered together. Okay, so now what I want to do, let's take a look at this Chinese New Year for next year, the year 2023. Okay, let's visit this particular website, and we're going to learn what the Chinese New Year is for 2023. Okay, so this is the actual website. It's China Highlights, and as we see here, this is for 2023. 2023 is the year of the rabbit. That is very interesting. Okay, now dealing with the left-hand side, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you should know what the rabbit represents. Okay, again, it represents going down the rabbit hole. Okay, could this be a sign that next year society or the world at large is going to be going down the rabbit hole? Okay, is it some big event that's going to happen next year that's going to cause everybody to go down the rabbit hole? Okay, or could this rabbit hole simply be, specific information that's going to be revealed? Okay, such as more information about who the real Jews are, who the real Israelites are. I can't say right now. Okay, this is just my critique from a spiritual vantage point. just throwing out there, what could happen. Okay, only time will tell. But next year is the year of the rabbit. Okay, dealing with the Chinese New Year. Okay, so now let's scroll up a bit and let's get a little bit more information. Okay, so scrolling up a bit here, and the article reads, it says 2023 is a year of the water rabbit. Okay, so now we're getting the element that's associated with this Chinese New Year. It's water. Okay, so this is the year of the water rabbit, right? So continuing on, and it says starting from January 22nd, 2023, which is the Chinese New Year, and ending on February the 9th, 2024, Chinese New Year's Eve. It says the sign of the rabbit is a symbol of longevity, peace, and prosperity in Chinese culture. Now pay very close attention to this next sentence. It says 2023 is predicted to be a year of hope. Pause. Now, why would 2023 need to be a year of hope? Could it be that there's some detrimental things that's going to happen next year that's going to cause people to need hope? Could that be the case? All this year, if you've been following my channel, one of the main things I've been talking about is what? The up and coming famine. Okay, I believe food shortages are going to rise next year. And again, that's based upon all the food that was supposed to have been grown this year that did not get grown. That's the food that's going to be lacking next year. Okay, just to throw that out there. Okay, but I want you all to keep that in mind, that last sentence, because that's very important as we move forward. It says 2023 is predicted to be a year of hope. Okay, but you know what? I would go as far as to say it's going to be a year of false hope. That's what I believe. And you're going to see why I say that here in a minute as we move forward. Okay, but now let's scroll up a bit more. Let's get a bit more information. So scrolling up a bit more here, and you see this part of the article has a table. Okay, now looking to the far left, it's listing all of what they call the rabbit years as far as the Chinese New Year goes. Okay, all of those are rabbit years. Of course, you have 2023, which is coming up. Then the last rabbit year was 2011. Then you had 1999, 1987, 1975, 1963, 1951, 1939, so on and so forth, right? All of those were rabbit years as far as the Chinese year goes, right? So looking to the far right of this particular table, it's listing the elements that's associated with each rabbit year. Now, of course, like we've already established, next year is the year of the water rabbit. Okay, and of course, the last rabbit year was the year of the gold rabbit as far as the elements go. But now what I want to point out, okay, because 2023, as we see according to this chart, is the year of the water rabbit, right? Looking at this chart, when was the last water rabbit year? It was in 1963. That was the last time we had a quote unquote water rabbit year. It was in 1963. So that means that the next water rabbit year, which is in 2023, that would mean that it was 60 years ago that we had a water rabbit year from 2023 to 1963. That's 60 years. Okay. Now, why am I pointing all of this out? Why is this so significant. Okay, well, let's point something out here. And like I said before, if you've been following my channel for some time now, when you look at how the elites deal on the left hand side, a lot of these things are scripted. Okay, you have scripts, then you have things that are scripts within scripts. Okay, now we're gonna take a look at a particular celebrity, a particular retired athlete. Okay, and we're gonna get a bit more information. Okay, now everything that I'm saying is just simply my critique. Okay, I'm not saying if anything is gonna happen for sure, or if anything is absolute. This is just me giving you my critique. Okay, but the athlete that we're gonna take a look at is none other than Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Okay, now I know some of you may be saying to yourself, oh Lord, here you go again, Kanaiba. Now, what does Michael Jordan have to do with all of this? Why Michael Jordan? Well, first, let me start off by stating the obvious. The man wore the number 23. That's what he's famous for. Okay, let's get the surface level stuff out the way. Okay, the man wore number 23. He made the number famous. Okay, and as we see here, he's the cover athlete for NBA 2K23. Okay, now if you you should already know by now, even the developers of NBA 2K, and they're in the know as well. Okay, it shouldn't be a surprise by now. And usually when you're a cover athlete for any 2K game, it's usually a bad omen. Not all the time, but there is a joke out there about the NBA 2K cover curse. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm being a little bit facetious, but that is a thing. Okay. But, all jokes aside, he is the cover athlete for NBA 2K23. Okay, now I believe he was the cover athlete for 2K11 as well. But he was the cover athlete for this 2K23. Which I have not played. I don't even have the game. I'm just way too busy these days to actually get off into it. But he's the cover athlete, right? Now, why is all of this important though? Okay, let's get a little deeper as to why I'm putting focus on Michael Jordan. Okay, now remember what we just said about the last Water Rabbit year, concerning the Chinese New Year, right? The last Water Rabbit year was in 1963, correct? Let's take a look at something. Let's take a look at Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan's birthday. Okay, and here it is. And as we see here, the man was born February the 17th, 1963. Okay, and at the time of this video, of course, he's 59 years old. Now, why is this important? When did we say the last Water Rabbit year was? It was in 1963, the same year that Michael Jordan was born. Okay? So Michael Jordan just so happens, or maybe not just so happen, to be born during what's known as a Water Rabbit year, as far as the Chinese New Year goes. Okay? But that's not it. Okay? You should know by now. I always got more. Okay? Because some of you just may not be convinced. Okay? And it's I'm not really here to convince you because this is just my critique. Okay, I could be dead wrong on all of this, but I'm just looking at things from a spiritual vantage point. Okay, now, if you're still in doubt and say, Kaniba, you reaching. Okay, what does this water rabbit year have to do with Michael Jordan and everything like that? Well, let me pose a question to you. Okay, for you naysayers. What famous movie was Michael Jordan a star of? What movie did he star in? Ah, that's right. It was the movie Space Jam. And of course, in this movie, Space Jam, he starred alongside the rabbit, Bugs Bunny. Ah, now things should be opening up a little bit more. Okay? If you remember anything about that movie, how did Michael Jordan get to Looney Tune Land? Okay, he had to go down the rabbit hole. He was playing golf, and they pretty much made it to where it's like he was going down the rabbit hole. And then once he got to Looney Tune Land, the very first cartoon character that he saw was indeed the rabbit. It was Bugs Bunny. Okay, so again, that's why I mentioned earlier, a lot of this stuff, when you look at the left-hand side, is scripted. Okay, that they're connecting him to the rabbit. Okay, he was born during what's known as a water rabbit year. Okay, concerning the Chinese New Year. Okay, now, if that's still not enough, okay, look, I'm gonna give you even more because I always got more. Okay, I'm gonna show you a scene from this movie, Space Jam, and I'm hoping YouTube don't be on that BS. But we're gonna look at this quick scene, and I'm gonna bring this thing full circle. Okay, dealing with everything that we've said thus far. I'm gonna bring this thing full circle. Okay, let's take a look at this scene from the movie Space Jam. Okay, let's take a look.
I know we're down.
Oh yeah, let's hear the story.
But I've been in this situation many times before.
Oh, this is a
we can still win this thing. It's not over with. We gotta come together. We gotta believe in ourselves. We can come back and win this game.
Yeah, right.
So, for those of you who may not have seen this movie, or it's been a while. Okay, this is actually the famous game that the Toon Squad, which was the Looney Tunes, had against the Monstars. Okay, which were the aliens that they were actually playing against, right? So this is actually halftime, and the Toon Squad is actually losing the game right now. They're getting beat pretty bad, and so the rest of the team is down in the dumps right now. They don't think that they can actually win this game, and Michael Jordan is trying to give them this pep talk to try to get them back into the game. Okay, so that's the point of this. That's the point of this scene right now. That's the point we're at. Okay, so now let's continue.
Looks like Stan just had a close encounter with a bug zapper.
Monstars. The Monstars.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Right, Stan? The Monstars stole the talent from the NBA players.
So the Monstars, which were the aliens, they actually stole the talent from the NBA players. That's why they were able to grow so tall and play ball so good. Okay? But now, again, looking at this thing spiritually, from a spiritual vantage point, one could argue and say that them stealing the talent from the NBA players could very well be symbolic of the NBA players losing their identity. Ah, see that? Okay, I told you I was going to bring this thing full circle. Okay? But anyway, let's continue with the scene.
So that's what happened to those guys.
I think we should forfeit.
Yeah. Listen, I didn't get dragged down here just to get my butt whipped by a bunch of ugly monsters. I ain't going out like that. We're letting them push us around. We gotta fight them back.
Okay, so y'all should already know where I'm going with this. Okay, here you have the rabbit, Bugs Bunny, and he just took a bottle and he filled it up with what? Water, aka the water rabbit. Okay, now, am I still reaching? Am I reaching to consider or to link Michael Jordan with the water rabbit? And it just so happens that he was born during what's known as a water rabbit year in 1963. Why? Why was it so important for them to put this scene in the movie with the rabbit actually catching water into this bottle? Now let's see what Mr. Bugs Bunny actually does with this bottle of water, aka the water rabbit. Let's see what he does. Let's continue.
We gotta take it to them. We gotta get right in their faces. And what do you say? Are you with me or not?
Finished? Great speech and all, Doc. You had him riveted. But didn't you forget something?
What?
Your secret stuff.
Oh boy. Michael's secret stuff, which is simply a bottle of water handed to him by the water rabbit. And it's very interesting he named it Michael's secret stuff. Very interesting. Okay, but anyway, let's continue.
Whoa! Nice deltoid. Play along. Stop hogging it, Mike. We're your teammates. Secret stuff. Secret stuff?
You wouldn't hold out on us, would you? No, I mean, I didn't think you guys really needed it. I mean, you're so tough. You're competitive.
We're also chicken tough. We need it bad.
Hey! I'd like some.
You know, this goes against everything they taught me in health class.
You want to win or not?
Bottoms up. Yummy.
All right. How about we go out and kick some alien butt, huh? Let's go. How about it? All right, ready?
So, did you all see that? So, after the water rabbit revealed to everybody Michael's secret stuff, which was simply just a bottle of water, he proceeded to hand the bottle to the rest of the teammates so they can drink the secret stuff, which is just a bottle of water. And what did this do for the team? It gave them a sense of hope, is what it did. Okay? Now, granted, this is going back to what I said earlier. It actually gave them a sense of false hope because all it was just a bottle of water. It was nothing special about it. It was false hope. Remember I said that earlier? But the fact remains is that it gave them hope. That water rabbit gave them hope, in which Michael Jordan is connected to. Okay? Now allow me to bring something to your remembrance. Okay? Remember, I told all of you to remember the very last sentence of this paragraph. Remember that? I said you gotta have to remember this sentence because it's very important, going further into this video. And the last sentence in this paragraph says what? That 2023 is predicted to be a year of hope. This water rabbit year. And we just witnessed in this movie Space Jam, this Bugs Bunny playing the role of the water rabbit, giving them hope, the rest of the team. And we know Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan was born in 1963, which was the last water rabbit year that we had. Okay, now if that's just still not quite enough, which that really should be the icing on the cake, okay, but the movie Space Jam came out in 1996, okay? Michael Jordan was born in 1963, meaning what? When that movie came out, he was 33 years old. And if you've been watching my channel long enough, you should know what the number 33 represents. It represents enlightenment. Okay, which is why I say next year we may be going down the rabbit hole. Now, what that means, I don't know. Only time will tell. Okay, but that number 33 represents enlightenment, and it also represents sacrifice. Okay, now, you know, I'm not one to burn bread on anybody. Okay, I'm not saying for sure if they're going to do anything with Michael Jordan, but I would not be surprised. Okay, but at the very least, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you see something with Michael Jordan in the media next year. Okay, now what specifically, I can't say. Okay, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. Okay, but this is just my critique from a spiritual vantage point. Okay, I could be dead wrong. Okay, but now you should really further understand what I mean when I say, you know, when they dealing with that left hand side, you know, a lot of this stuff is scripted. Okay, and just to put the naysayers asleep. Okay, just to put them to rest. If I'm really reaching by associating Michael Jordan with this water rabbit year, of course dealing with the Chinese New Year, then please explain to me why Michael Jordan has more than one pairs of shoes known as the Chinese New Year. Explain that to me. The man is already associated with the Chinese New Year. Okay? Of course, to the left, you have the Chinese New Year 12s that came out in 2020. Then you have the Chinese New Year 12s that came out in 2017. And I believe there's a lot more, to be frank. But, you know, these are probably my favorite two pair out of the Chinese New Year collection. Really, the 2017s. Okay, they look a lot like the taxis. But the point being is that the man is already associated with the Chinese New Year. So why would it be far-fetched for me to associate him with this water rabbit year concerning the Chinese New Year? Okay. But anyway, and in closing, this is actually my video that's titled The Year 2023. My critique from a spiritual vantage point. Now, again, you know, just simply looking at this thing from a spiritual vantage point, you know, on the left-hand side, they do give credence to this Chinese New Year. Okay, just simply look at the last Super Bowl, right? The Cincinnati Bengals, okay? And this year was the year of the Tiger, okay, dealing with the Chinese New Year. That's why the Cincinnati Bengals had to make it to the Super Bowl, right? And then next year, of course, dealing with the Chinese New Year, is going into what? The year of the water rabbit, right? And we've already established that Mr. Michael Jordan, he was born during the last Water Rabbit year, 1963, right? And he's associated with the Water Rabbit through the movie Space Jam, okay? And in that movie, the Water Rabbit, or Bugs Bunny, he gave the team hope through that bottle of water. And we already read in that article about the Chinese New Year of 2023 that 2023 is supposed to be a year of hope, or is predicted to be a year of hope. Okay, everything is just lining up too perfectly. Okay, and of course, as going back to the beginning of this video, and which is most important, dealing with Kyrie and Kanye, okay? Dealing with this whole anti-Semitism thing. Dealing with who the real Jews are. Again, dealing with DNA. The number 23 represents DNA, like I said earlier. So, again, going into next year, I believe this whole thing, dealing with who the real Jews are, I believe it's going to blow up even more. Now, that's just my critique, okay? But dealing with this prediction of us needing hope next year, okay, what's going to happen to where we actually need hope? Will society really be going down that rabbit hole, and that's going to lead us to need hope? Who knows? Only time will tell, right? But with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father. And of course, we do so in the name of the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay? And I want to thank all you brothers and sisters for tuning in. I hope this video was informative and edifying. And until next time, Shalom, family.